And now it's time to look at this year's top 10 defensive tackles. And we begin with Rick Sandage, a 4.5-star player from North Carolina. He's considering the Tar Heels as well as Florida, Georgia, Michigan, and South Carolina. Where do you think he lands, Tom?
I know North Carolina was. They're not having a great year on the field, but they were the leader when I saw him. And I've seen him each of the past 2 years. He's kind of a tall, lanky defensive tackle. Yeah, sort of the opposite of everyone else on this list, but he's very athletic. He plays defensive end, he plays tackle. He's got a frame. He's going to weigh well over 300 pounds in a year or so. He's got terrific feet, and I really liked his production over the past 2 years because he plays in a very difficult league.
Cool. At number 9, we have P.J. Mustipher, another 4.5-star ball player from Maryland. He's on his way to Penn State next year. James Franklin continuing to pull players from the Mid-Atlantic, Tom.
He's doing a great job pulling the players, particularly, you know, James had his start at University of Maryland, and he's got great connections there. Mustipher's brother is the starting center at Notre Dame, so Penn State beat Notre Dame out for him, and he's, unlike his brother, he's playing on the defensive side of the ball. He's got great hands like his brother and even quicker feet, and I really liked his body control and bursting. He's a guy that could develop into an outstanding pass rusher, although right now he's a good pass rusher, but he's got the potential to become even better in college.
We need to schedule a Penn State-Notre Dame game immediately. All right, landing at number 8 is Josh Belk. Belk, a South Carolina native who's staying close to home to play for Clemson. Dabo continues to pull in the top recruits, of course, on that D-line. Does this guy get discounts at Belk, Tom?
Yeah, he certainly does, and he's a powerhouse, Adam. When I went to the high school to interview him, the head coaches at both Clemson and South Carolina were walking out, going to see him. So he could obviously, this is when he was a sophomore. So this is a guy that's been well known in the South Carolina area, dominates the middle of the line. I don't consider him a great pass rusher, but I consider him to be one of the top run stuffers in the nation, and that's what he's going to be in college, because this guy's got great feet, he gets great leverage, and he can really dominate the point of attack.
All right, going to have to replace Christian Wilkins very soon, so there's your guy right there. Of course, he's not allowed to get discounts at Belk or free stuff. Landing at number 7, we have Jason Adamalola, 96th overall in the class. He's from Jersey, headed to Notre Dame next year, along with his twin brother. Wow, Tom.
They're from the same high school as Notre Dame's starting quarterback, Brandon Wimbush, and Coach Rich Hanson's done a great job of developing defensive players, in particular, in my opinion. Minka Fitzpatrick is from there, the All-American at Alabama. And now he's got 2 great defensive linemen, and the brothers, both of them, Justin and Jason, are guys that can really play the game. They both are interchangeable at both defensive end and defensive tackle. I've seen them since their freshman year develop, and they put on a lot of weight and strength. They're dominating ball players in a dominating league, and these are guys that I think could step in and start as freshmen.
And they don't have to worry about how to address their names on the back of their jerseys at Notre Dame, so it's a total package. Okay, number 6, we have KEONDRE COBURN, 94th overall in the class. He's staying in state to play for Tom Herman and Texas next year. And as we said, Tom, Coach Herman trying to keep the studs from crossing the state border.
You know, he's similar to Ed Oliver. The coaches at Westfield, when I was down in Houston, were telling me that he reminds him of him. Oliver was was a very fast defensive lineman, not quite as bulky, but had that great. This guy's got those same kind of instincts when it comes to going after the quarterback and stuffing the run. He's got a good all-around game, and I was impressed with his hands and his feet, and also his ability to play against some of the best programs in the Houston area. So he's done it for the past 3 years, and he's a dominating ball player.
All right, looking forward to seeing him put on that burnt orange. At number 5, we have Austin Fontaine, 78th in the class. He's going to stay in-state to play for Maryland next year. We were just complimenting how James Franklin's still been vacuuming the state, but DJ Durkin, Tom, may be gaining some more traction in Maryland now in this year.
Well, yeah, I've said this before. If you can be nice, get in there and get close to the coaches at DeMatha High School and St. Francis High School and good counsel, you're halfway there, because DeMatha has every year between 10 and 15 Division I ball players. He's one of the 2 best players in this class at DeMatha, and coaches there rave about his work ethic and his ability to make big plays when they're really needed. And, you know, DeMatha doesn't back down from playing anybody, so they usually have a national schedule. So he plays against some of the best competition in the country and dominates.
Yes, even in the rain, if he has to, as we saw there. At number 4, we have TREVOR TROUT, 74th overall. He is a St. Louis native, considering Alabama, Georgia, LSU, UCLA, and Illinois up and over the border. It's an interesting list here, Tom. Where do you think he lands?
Well, you know what? I think he can go anywhere now. I'm not even going to say it because he's got everybody coming after him. He's even got more that are on that list. He's visited a lot of schools. Trevor's one of the more social media conscious guys nationally. He tweets out a lot, and he calls me a lot and talks, and I don't think he's even knows right now talking to him where he wants to go. All I know is it's the best year I've seen in the last 20 years in the St. Louis area. They got some great ball players, and Trevor Trout's one of the 2 or 3 best players in that area. And another dominating guy, perfectly built for the nose tackle or nose guard position.
All right, so I'll just have to follow him or text you after you guys talk, and we'll follow each other. It'll be great. We'll click on a bunch of hearts. All right, landing at number 3, we have Robert Cooper, 39th overall in the class. He's from Georgia, but crossing state lines to play for Florida State next year. So, Jimbo Fisher needing a big splash. He's got one here, Tom.
In my opinion, I think they've got themselves a future All-American in college. He's the most dominating inside guy that I've seen when it comes to stuffing the run. Maybe not a great pass rusher, but he benches almost 500 pounds, a high school kid benching almost 500 pounds. He's got quick enough feet. He dominates the point of attack, and anybody who goes up against guards, centers, running backs, whoever gets in his way, he's a brick wall against the run, and very impressive. When I met him out when I was in the Atlanta area a few months ago, he walked in and it looked like an NFL nose guard. He was that wide and that strong looking. This is a 17-year-old we're talking about.
That is pretty crazy. So, wow. Growing quickly. Number 2, Michael Thompson, another tackle from Missouri. As you said, a big year there. He's considering the in-state Tigers, as well as Alabama, the LSU Tigers, Michigan, and Ohio State. So who has the best chance to land him, Tom?
You know, at first, when I saw him, and I've seen him each of the past 2 years, Alabama was always the school he wrote down on his questionnaire first, and I take a lot of heart with that, I think that these guys, the first school that comes to their mind, but the Buckeyes have made a major push for him right now. And they're really, you know, obviously Ezekiel Elliott's from that same area, and I think they're making a major push too. So I wouldn't rule out the Buckeyes. This is another dominating ball player since his freshman year, All-State last year, All-State as a sophomore. Michael Thompson is the real deal, and a ball player that no matter where he goes, be it Ohio State or Michigan, maybe not Alabama, he'll start as a freshman. Maybe
not Alabama. But you did say Ohio State there. And the top defensive tackle in this class is TARON Vincent. He's 5th overall in the class. He's the son of former 5-time Pro Bowl defensive back Troy Vincent. So TARON was well-fed for the son of a defensive back. He's originally from Baltimore, playing this season at IMG Academy in Florida. And Tom, he's already chosen Ohio State for next season. Is that a done deal? Lock it up?
I think so. I think his dad's going to make him stick to whatever he does first, because Troy is a guy who's been through the mill and knows that once you give your word, you should stick to it. Bill McGregor, who was the head coach at Gilman High School, one of the head coaches, brought him to meet me as a freshman. And this kid we watched film on him. Fantastic. He's a gentleman off the field, on the field. He's a holy terror, but he's got the great feet. The reason he's number 1 is because his overall athleticism. Now that he's down at IMG Academy, he goes up against some of the best offensive linemen in the country in practice, and he still dominates. This is a ball player that just runs like a linebacker, but he can hit like a 500-pound bench press defensive tackle. So he's got all the tools, the great hands, the great bloodlines, and the speed to dominate even at Ohio State as a freshman.